Alright, let's check this dude out. We finally got this old Phantom rebuilt again. Only this time, as you can see, we did not leave the transformer inside the unit. I've been wanting to do that since the first time I built this amp, but circumstances at the time were preventing that. We're not going to go into that big long story. Anyway, yeah, it's been rebuilt. Right now it's got a pair of 250Bs in it. And we got nice big tuners, stable tuners, and a tank coil that can actually breathe a little bit. Our fan is now epoxied in. We still got to seal some holes around the chassis from the build and rebuild. You can see the donut on here where the original transformer was. So now what happens is we also rebuilt the bottom. This is a whole new amp inside again. Everything inside has been redone. Tube sockets have been redone. High voltage has been redone. Screen and filament and all that transformers down here in the bottom. Well, now this big guy lives outside, and we have a cinch plug for it. Now, this plug is on our big transformer. Big transformer is going to plug into the wall. So once he gets this set up, all he's going to do is plug this guy in. And once this is in and snapped in and locked, bam, the amp is, you can turn it on. Everybody controls from the front, and he's ready to go. So there it is. It's been redone. This time with a pair of 250Bs, so it doesn't rip as hard on his power in his house. And we're going to do a little bit to the front of this one too. So he's making his own box for his second piece, his buddy box. That's his high voltage transformer. It's a lot of transformer for a pair of 250Bs, but when you see what this thing does on the watt meter, you'll see why. Alright, so here it is. Check it out. We're going to throw it all together because we got to run this with the lid on, otherwise it tears everything in the house up. So hang out. We'll be right back. There we go. So now our transformer, which will be in the box our customer's making, cinched in on the back. Got cables in. We're driving it with this 99 V2 that just came in. We had another one, but it ended up in shambles, so we bought another one. And now we got this guy, which runs good. It's been modified right off the bat. The radio on its own, we go 100 watt scale. There's 10, 100. Radio's PEP in about 25 watts of PEP. Real power, less than 10 watts. So we'll go back to PEP. We need to go to the 5,000 watt scale for this guy. Now you'll notice when we take this off standby, you hear it ramp up. Okay, so turn the mic getting all the way down. And there's a nice 200 watt dead key. Hell, we could get that lower, but I'm gonna leave it. Now we're gonna turn mic gain up. Now this is PEP, mind you, on a mediocre meter, but the RMS on this is pretty accurate, so we're gonna go to that in a minute. But PEP, it says it's PEP and close to about 1750, depending on what angle you're looking at the watt meter from. But in real power, it's a pair of 250Bs. Audio. Just short of 750 watts of RMS, and that's on AM. On AM with less than 30 watts of PEP drive. Okay. I think the peak scale on this might be a little generous. I'm thinking it's actually about 1700 watts of PEP. 750 watts of RMS, yeah, about 1500 watts. So this is no longer 400 A's. We're going to redo the face of this next for him. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet, but this little panel here, we're going to do something with it. I think we're just going to dust the top black for him. And this guy is done. Again, only this time, I believe it's going to live a lot longer. I think it's going to get a little less abuse maybe. And now without the big gargantuan 400A tubes in it, it runs a lot smoother. So there it is. This is actually a Birdcage 500. Two 250 watt RMS tubes, two 250Bs. You can't see it to the grill. There you go, a little bit. Pair of 250Bs. Banging a good 1400 watts of PEP. I think this guy's generous, but the RMS on this is pretty tight. Let's say it's 7.5. You do the math, it's about 1500 watts. So, which is realistic out of a pair of 250Bs for PEP. Now you notice he doesn't have a high-low switch. When you fucking around with a high-low switch on this one. His bias, the only time that this is ever going to come into play is if he has a problem. If his tubes are getting wonky enough that he can actually adjust it with this control. Right now it doesn't even hardly adjust it. But what we've learned is when the tubes start to go a little bit goofy, you get real sensitive to bias. When he can actually start dialing this up and down, we got a problem with tubes, we got a problem with bias, we got to check that out. So this is more now of an indicator than it is an actual dialing from, you know, negative 110 down to 70. It's actually locked in. This will control it from negative 79 to negative 83 volts, and we got it set at negative 81 volts right now. So that's 81 volts of bias. We are nailing the tubes with 2750 volts of plate. That's on idle though. 300 volts of screen. We're basically, I mean, we're hot rodding it a little bit, not much more than Pride does. Pride's 2500 volts. So, and these guys, these planetaries were 2700 volts, 2800 volts. So, it's not going to hurt the tube. This is intermittent service. We're not sitting here railing 250 watts 24/7. So, I believe this amp is, and I've seen them last a long time set up just like this. We got the nice Heathkit load tuner in there now. You can't see it. You can see it to there. Big ass Heathkit load tuner in there. That is actually the same replacement for Pride. And our big 4-turn, 3.5 inch diameter, get it on coil in there, keeping it all nice and stable. So there it is. This is the Birdcage 500 in its raw rarity again. People have been watching this amp for a year grow up and finally get put together right. And, you know, it's been put together by someone else's ideas twice, and this time I told a guy, look, leave me. Leave me alone and let me build your amp. And this is what we did, and now it works beautifully, which I could never say before, but we can say that now. We're going to doll up the face, plug all the loose air holes. This guy's got a nice amp. So there it is. What once was a Phantom, DNA Phantom, is now the first of many more to come for Birdcage amps. We call them Birdcage because the other guy said, what are you doing bird watts? What you doing? Bird slug. Coaxial dynamics. That's what I use. There's mine. But in RMS watts, bird watts, reality, we have two 250B tubes in there. A pair. 250B tubes sitting in there. Normal service, they do 500 watts of RMS real power. We've got these doing about 750 watts of RMS on AM. So, this box is healthy. This box is done. Other than some cosmetics, 053 in Champagne. This is his box. Alan Tartar, dude, it's finally done, brother man. You got to see some numbers finally. When I showed him this on live video chat, it was knocking us off the air for the live video chat, so we couldn't do it. So there it is, man. She's all done, ready to rock and roll. Some other projects you're gonna see some videos on. We haven't been able to do media for like a week because this camera I'm using was busted. The Frankenstein 29 got done, 110 watts peak. The only thing we didn't do yet is put a variable dead key on it, but that customer decided to do something else for himself, so we kept the radio, and I'm just keeping it for myself because it's a pretty nice, neat little unit. We're going to do a video on that later. But right now, main focus is getting this guy done. We also have the Falcon 500 came back. It decided to launch a coax connector, thus launching a few tubes in its wake. So we got a few things to do. We got Kenwood's going up on eBay here pretty soon. We're going to build some more boards here in the next week or so. So stuff is getting back after we're digging out of the snow, and some stuff's finally starting to arrive in the mail. And the little lull in the randomness around here was kind of good because we've been playing with this thing for I guess 8 months now, just off and on because I was doing it in my spare time. We paid for pretty much everything that went back into this box, except for the tubes, because when I build a box, we warranty it. I ate it on this one. The last when this guy bought it, it was set up way too hot, and now it's a mild, which is more of a cruiser than it is a drag racer now. So he's got a nice piece. Alan, brother, I hope you're happy with it. We'll get the next video up. It'll have a new face on it and a new lease on life down there in Champaign, where you can just tear their asses up. All right, so there it is for you, buddy. Birdcage 500 in construction. You guys stay safe, 7-3s. We'll see you.